Hi there, welcome to Isle Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Taurus energy. And we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives depending on how people harness their Taurus energy. Life's about learning lessons, and some people have learned some more lessons than other people. Some people in their Taurus energy might be more aligned with their more worldly nature, which can be their prideful nature, stubborn nature, immature nature, self-centered nature, and just they have their views of life. And some other people might have, can just be being in our ego nature, more about ourselves, more about the world. Other people have tempered their ego, learned how to play nice with other people, treat other people the way they like to be treated, are like loving, authentic people who want everyone to grow and heal and mature themselves because they're growing and healing and maturing themselves. And to heal from your past pain and heartbreak, your fears, your insecurities, your ego, is a free will choice, and not everyone makes that choice. So how people will be handling this energy will be different depending on how they harness their Taurus energy. Now, we all tap into Taurus energy because we all have that free will choice in our own Taurus energy of self, of what our truth is and what we think is just and fair, and our character and our integrity and all those things, and how we conduct ourselves in workplaces and friendships and relationships, family dynamics, etc. So listen to your intuition about how you are handling your Taurus energy. The truth sets us free. Some people were kind of in a more mismatched relationship. Their philosophy of life and what drives and motivates them is different than your philosophy of life and what drives and motivates you. And it's extremely difficult to change someone's philosophy of life. And it could take years, decades, or they may never want to. Everybody has the free will to live their life the way they want it. And we have to see the truth of it. And sometimes we're just not on the same page with people at the same time. And we may never be on the same page with them ever. Because we view life differently. And our truth is different than their truth. So we'll start over here. We start out with the Three of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is Gemini energy, which has to do with our dualistic nature of free will, of what we think is just and fair, and what drives and motivates us. Some people are more emotionally manipulated by their more worldly nature, and that's their truth. And then we have the free will of what kind of people we align with in our life. Do we align with people who are more authentic and hopeful and believing and just and fair and healed? Or do we kind of reject those people because that requires us to be in that energy? And instead, we prefer to defend and align with people who kind of more align with our shadow nature. Using our emotions more manipulatively in a relationship we think is just and fair because we maybe don't really want to do love. We get hurt doing love. We are more materialistic, ego-focused, status-focused. Is that more important to us? Do we let the world manipulate us? Then we have the Ace of Cups, the Page of Cups, the Sun, and the Knight of Cups. There can be all sorts of different people in our world. We can know people that are more worldly focused, ego focused, defensive, immature, whatever, right? We can wish them all peace. I see the truth with the Sun card. I see that is your truth, Could we have all been more immature and worldly focused? Yeah, maybe the first 30, 40 years of our life. But within being more caught up in the world, there's different lessons that people have learned in that phase of life also. So we can work and hang out with and know lots of different people in the world. Do we want to get in a more involved relationship with them? We could have in the past. Maybe we thought we could change people. I'm going to enlighten them to the truth. I'm going to make them stop being more motivated by the world or defensive or egotistical or fearful of love, right? But as you kind of get older and you've kind of learned that you were offering love to the devil, which is basically just someone who has a different philosophy of life than you, maybe, right? And we don't view life the same. And they could be more immature. You could feel they're more egotistical. You could feel that they more are motivated and inspired by the world, because the devil can represent all these things of the world. I think I'll be happy indulging in these things. I think I'll be happy if I have these things. And they, haven't been enlightened to the truth that love is what makes it all worthwhile. And they're going to have to go on their own journey. And the devil, their truth is that they don't look at life from a higher perspective with the Ten of Swords and the Queen of Swords. Again, the Ten of Swords is Gemini energy. Everybody has free will to either offer love and deal with the truth of things in their life that have manipulated them, their own emotional, worldly, defensive nature, their own kind of prideful, egotistical, fearful of believing in themselves, believing in their dreams, their own self-indulgent nature. We've all been there. And, when things get a certain hold on us, it's really hard to break free of them. The pages can even represent that we're just in more codependent energy. And I think we've all been there before too. We can look outside of ourselves for the answer. I'm going to look outside of myself for someone to love me. I'm going to look outside of myself to all these things in the world. I think those are the answer to making me feel better. But if we do that enough times, that isn't the answer. We're looking outside of ourselves to find the answer to make us feel better, to make us feel loved, to make us feel stable, to make us feel grounded, to make us, feel stable and secure within ourselves. But the truth is, we were meant to offer love to our own shadow nature. We're not children anymore. We're adults. We are supposed to wish peace to that old dynamic of being more codependent on our family and other people. We are meant to learn to love ourselves. And I view high vibe Leo, because shadowy Leo is our ego nature, as choosing to love ourselves. I'm going to offer myself love and compassion and forgiveness. Offer love to my own immature, shadowy, fearful, insecure nature, so I can detach from it and have hope and faith and belief in my dreams. I view the Queen of Swords as Aquarius energy, also represented by the Star card, because when I look to other things outside of me to be the answer to my problems, there's other people who are in that energy too. Oh, are you looking to the world to make you feel stable and grounded and more thinking if you wear certain things or dress a certain way or act a certain way or have a certain amount of money that people will love you, people want to be in a relationship with you, or if you indulge in these things of the world, that'll make you happy, that's the answer to your problems? There's other people that are in that energy that are happy to work together with you because that's the energy they're in too. And we've all gotten into those relationships and worked at those workplaces. And we move forward in it thinking, I'm invested in these things of the world, and I'm working with these people of the world and people who view life the way I view life. But our dream doesn't come into reality. It's not, we had a dream and we wanted it to, hopefully in high vibe, you wanted it to be where people work together with you cooperatively from love, that everybody was willing to learn lessons about their own defensive, kind of egoic nature and their past pain and heartbreak, as the Queen of Swords can be that we have felt betrayed before, and so then we can kind of be defensive and be in our ego because we've been betrayed before. And so then we can get in relationships with people who are defensive to working together with us in a more self-aware, self-insightful way, because they're still operating from this old way of viewing life. Like, well, no, I've been hurt before. Things didn't work out the way I wanted. I'm still looking for someone to love me because I didn't work through those issues. So those issues The devil can just talk about all those things that manipulate us. I'm defensive. Other people have hurt me. Other people that I loved, maybe in my own family growing up, or other people I'd gotten in relationships, could be people I married, people I had children with. It didn't work out the way I wanted. But I still haven't offered love to myself to work through it, to not let it manipulate me anymore. And how I act and how I think and how I feel. High vibe people did that work, and they also were illuminated to the truth of it. I saw where I needed to heal and grow and mature myself. I saw the truth about other people in my life that I could have gotten in relationships with where they needed to heal and grow and mature themselves. They didn't maybe see it, but I could have seen it. But the only person I can change is me. And I don't want to repeat that pattern. If I was living my life a certain way and hanging out, doing certain things that I realized was stopping me from having my dream come into reality, I can offer love and encouragement and truth to people in my life for them to try to work through their past pain, heartbreak, their self-limiting beliefs, their defensive nature, their egoic nature, their more worldly nature, to move forward with me. And there's going to be some people in my life that, when we offer people truth and love and encouragement, there's some people that, because they're in that type of environment, they will do this work within themselves. Why do I think the way I think? Why do I let these things manipulate me? Where do I need to grow up and mature myself? Why don't I love myself? Why do I keep sabotaging myself? Why do I give in to my more shadowy nature? Why do I let other people in my life tempt me in my more worldly nature? Maybe I want to be indulged. Maybe I'm more materialistic. Maybe I'm more defensive. Maybe until they see the truth and work through those things themselves, we'll all keep repeating an old pattern, and because the truth sets us free. But we have to see the truth of it. Where do I need to heal and grow and mature myself? Where have I not dealt with past pain and heartbreak, and it still makes me defensive, or still makes me be immature, or give in to my more lust or greed or pride or ego or immature nature, whatever, things I go indulge in to make myself feel better. Why do I do that? And the people who do the work to free themselves from it, they don't have an interest in going back and repeating that pattern. Just like we had a way of viewing life when we were 15, and a way of viewing life and living life when we were 18, and when we were 21, and when we were 25. Some people worked through those phases. They enjoyed them when they were in it, when they kind of were illuminated that, if I keep living my life like this, I'm going to be defending a way of life that keeps me more immature, self-indulgent, manipulated, not growing up. If I want my dreams to come into reality, the devil is Capricorn energy. I view high vibe Capricorn as the King of Pentacles. I have to put in work and effort to free myself from things that manipulate me. And for some people, some people don't want to see the truth. If they are more emotionally manipulative and use their emotions and maybe their sexuality and their looks or their resources or whatever in a more manipulative way in a relationship, or they are more codependent, they are more egotistical, they are more maybe self-centered and all about themselves, and they have these illusions about what it means to be in a relationship, some of those people don't want to see the truth of it. And that's people's free will choice too. If their whole life, their truth is, I don't look at life from a higher perspective, that would be high vibe Aquarius energy. I do think there's more to life than just me. I do think there's more to life than money and ego and status and me and indulgence. I think there's a higher truth and justice to aspire to. And I don't have just these things of the world to work with. That's what the devil tries to make us think. No. This will make you happy. Make your life about these things. That is living the dream. It'll make you happy. And some people in tarot, it's kind of referred to as being kind of caught up still in the illusion of the world. If I have these things, if I do these things, I'll be happy. And other people have done those things and they realized it was more about those things of the world. And because they were codependent or looked to those things and looked to certain people maybe to work together with them, maybe to validate their worth and value, maybe trying to change other people. Because again, we can repeat a past pattern because we're kind of in our ego that other people we've worked with in our life didn't work together with us in a way that was more just and fair, and we kind of feel betrayed. And so we can be drawn and attracted to certain people who we don't maybe want to acknowledge. It can be at a subconscious level that have some of those same traits and characteristics. And it's like in our ego, I am going to make them love me this time. I'm going to go get in a relationship with someone who's more defensive to love, just like some other people I knew in my life. And I'm going to make them love me. I'm going to get in a relationship with people who are more defensive. I'm going to make them love me. I'm going to get in relationships with people who are more worldly focused, ego focused, have addictions or something. I'm going to make them love me. Well, that probably doesn't work out. And part of the reason is because we maybe don't see that it can be a little bit more of our ego driving us. I was maybe when I was a child, I could have been wanting those relationships to work, and I had hope and faith and belief in my dreams, and I loved those people and I wanted them to move forward with me in that way. But the whole thing is, those people have their own issues, and some of those people, that's not their truth. And then we just have to see the truth of it, that everyone is where they're at. Everyone has their own things that manipulate them. They have their past pain and heartbreak. They have their defensive nature. They could be repeating old patterns, operating more from making their life about other things because all those things still manipulate them and they really haven't worked through it. You have to put in work and effort to free yourself from those things that manipulate you, or you'll keep repeating that old pattern. And some people are like, I don't want to keep repeating this pattern. And I could have been illuminated to the truth that I was repeating an old pattern. I was making my life more about these things or trying to change people or doing things more out of my fear or my insecurity or my codependency or my immature nature or whatever. And I don't want to do that anymore because it's a toxic way of living life and my dream isn't going to come into reality and I can't make other people change. And there's always going to be, I have my own shadow nature, so does everybody else. There's shadowy people in the world. High vibe 10 of Pentacles and Virgo energy is I need to love myself enough, my own worldly sense of stability and security. I need to love myself enough to get to the truth. And the 10 of Pentacles and Virgo energy is out of love for myself. I am willing to do that inner work to take all the lessons. That's kind of what the Pentacles can mean too. I have come in contact with all these different people in the world. I've seen people that are bossy and controlling and immature and manipulative and hurtful and unkind and egotistical and defensive. I found out I didn't like being in a relationship with them. You know, I'm going to take that truth that I learned. When people have certain traits and characteristics, can I know them? The pages can be, I make small gestures to people to be a loving and encouraging person in the world. Am I going to get in a more involved relationship with you? No. Am I going to hang out with you more than necessary? No. Might I have to work with you? Yes. Might you be in my family? Yes. And some of those people don't want to really hang out anymore with you either because you do view life differently. And that's okay. People can view life differently. You live your life, I'll live my life. Can we all, if everybody kind of gets along, where we accept the truth that you are motivated and inspired by different things and enjoy different things and view life differently than me, can we still get along and treat other people the way we like to be treated? Yeah. We can coexist in the world. We can live in a world, and it doesn't have to be that I have to change your viewpoint. You don't have to try to change my viewpoint. We can all live in this world, and everybody on the spectrum, because there's just going to be consequences to how people live their life. If we think we're right, we're going to live our life the way we think it, and we're going to view life the way we think it. And it's kind of like it'll all come out in the wash, right? Some people still have some lessons to learn, being illuminated that, oh, maybe I was being kind of stubborn. That's like shadowy Taurus energy, which can be, I have a way of living life and viewing life, and I refuse to look at life. I refuse to look at life from any higher perspective. I have my truth. You have your truth. I'm going to defend my truth. You move forward living life the way you think. I could think you're wrong. And I could think it's not going to work out the way you want, or the way you want to just live your life. You might be completely happy living your life this way, and that's not how I want to live my life. And we can just accept that high vibe people operate from a foundation of love, and they've offered love to themselves to stand up for what they view as just and fair. Other people are standing up and living their life and hanging out with people and defending people in their life because those people think and feel and live life like they do, and they think that's just and fair. I think if people are operating from a place of truth and love and being authentic, because shadowy energy of shadowy Leo and the devil can be where it's kind of more about you. And if other people aren't willing to make it more about you, then you're defensive to those people's truth because you make life more about you. If you're narcissistic, if you think it's just and fair to be defensive, well, then they want to be in relationships with people who enable them and are okay with them being defensive to love. Maybe being kind of immature, being more materialistic, being more manipulative, being more about their pride and ego, more about the world. Well, they just need to find someone who's on the same page as them. If they don't believe that there's any higher truth or justice to aspire to, or any higher purpose to even being on this planet, except what the world tells them they should make their life about, either it should be all about them, or it's all about money and materialism and status and ego and image, that's the most important thing. Well, as long as they find people that are of that same opinion, that is a just and fair relationship. Because it's just like, was it just and fair for us to live life like a 15-year-old? Yeah, we were 15. That is how we live life. Do people who are 18, 21, 25, 35, 45 want to live their life that way? No, because that's not how they view life anymore. But while they're at that stage of life, is it just and fair for them to live their life that way? Yeah, because that's how they view life. And other people, that's not their truth, and those people are moving on, and then they're harnessing this energy in a different way. The tens can talk about completions, and when we have kind of learned the lesson we were meant to learn from a certain phase of life, like living life like a 15-year-old, some people start to feel that it's toxic to keep living their life a certain way because they're kind of seeing the dream, they're not growing and maturing themselves to their full potential. So they work through the fact that I've got to quit living my life a certain way, viewing life a certain way. I need to offer love to myself and my fears and my insecurities about moving forward in life differently. And then we detach, is kind of the tens being a completion of a cycle. Though I could have loved living life, say, like a 15-year-old or a certain way of living life, if I want my dreams to come into reality, I can't keep living my life like that. And I do all this work within myself to work through my fears of moving forward in life differently and believing in my dreams and believing in myself. And I have to let go of that old way of viewing life. Kind of makes me think of that Bible verse. When I was a child, I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I grew up, I put away my more childish ways, you know? And I looked at life differently. I'm not the same person. And I don't want to keep being that person because I'm never going to like grow to my full potential if I keep indulging my more immature, fearful, codependent, uh, more worldly, materialistic, egoic, defensive way of living life. And sometimes when we're ready to move forward in life differently, when we complete the cycle, we'd come out with the page of pentacles or the ace of pentacles to go have a new beginning, being willing to be a student of life. In order to move forward in life differently, to authentically move forward in life differently, not just creating an illusion, oh, look, I've healed, look, I've grown, look, I've matured, look, I went and got a different job, look, I got in a different relationship, I'm a different person. But they're not. We can all create an illusion. That's like shadowy Pisces energy down here. And that's what some people do in life. They create the illusion that they're willing to work together with people cooperatively in a just and fair way, that they're ready to move forward in life differently, have a new beginning. But they have this unwilling to budge. It's like a cycle is over, but they don't want to see the truth of it. And they want to keep repeating this old pattern over and over. It's like someone having the mentality of what it was like to how to behave in relationships like they did when they were 18 or 21. Well, I thought this was okay when I was 18 or 21. And when I was 18 or 21, I was in relationships with people and I acted like this. And, and other people have grown up and matured themselves. And some people perpetually stay like an 18-year-old or a 21-year-old. No, this is how I want. Those relationships didn't work out and some of those people moved on. And they're perpetually trying to find someone who will let them act and behave in a relationship or a workplace or a friendship like they did when they were like an 18 or 21-year-old. And other people are like, we all kind of acted like that when we were 18 and 21 because we were kind of immature. And I see the truth that you're still kind of immature and you still are more caught up in either you or you're still not willing to be more independent. You still let your original family manipulate you or your friend group, and the whole thing is, it comes across as like harsh when I say original family, but we're all meant to go live our more authentic life and live our life, fly the nest. But some people, they're very codependent on those people, no matter how old they are, as being their primary foundation. Or it can be a friend group, or it can be the world at large. And they get in relationships with other people trying to create an illusion that they're ready to bring a dream into reality with them, like that will be their new foundation. But they have the devil card, looks just like kind of the lover's card, except that they have chains and shackles around their neck. And it's kind of a toxic codependency, unhealthy dynamic. And they create the illusion they're willing to move forward in these new beginnings, which they can move forward in, but they're never going to like detach. That foundation still ends up being the primary foundation in their life. It doesn't matter if they marry you, they have children with you, that is their more primary foundation in their life. And then those people in their life can just represent aspects within themselves that are aligned with that aspect of themselves. Oh, no, these people have to be my primary loyalty because I'm kind of codependent on them. Could the people in their family be loving and encouraging people, telling them to go fly out of the nest? Yeah, but if they just are more codependent, I still look to you because I haven't learned to look to myself, and I don't trust other people I still look to you as my primary foundation. So sometimes their friend group and their original family group is trying to get them to be more independent, but sometimes they're just more codependent. But sometimes the people in their life also don't like them being more independent. And we are supposed to be the primary foundation in your life. And if during the course of them moving forward in something new, if the people in their life who also kind of like people being codependent on them, if those people say, I don't think you should move forward with those people, those other people, I don't like them. They do look at life differently. I don't like people who look at life differently. Kind of illuminates that I'm not really who I say I am, because some of those people are offering you truth and love to encourage you to love and believe in yourself and believe in your dreams and be more independent. I don't like that. I like to be able to control and manipulate you. And then if those people tell them, I think you should backstab those people, maybe try to use the love that they know people have for them to try to get them up in their head and their fear and their insecurity and their defensive nature. Or if you keep moving forward with those people, I think I'll be defensive to you. And that, can trigger fear and insecurity in people. And they end up kind of indulging some people in their life that let them manipulate them. And then you can realize, you can get in relationship with people. They have things that manipulate them, whether that's, those things wouldn't manipulate them if there wasn't a part within them that agreed with it. And we get in relationships with them, and whatever manipulates them, if it's their defensive nature, they're liking to be more about themselves, or their ego, or they're immature, or they're more materialistic, they might want us to stay in the relationship with them because if you're a loving, nurturing person who doesn't like a loving, nurturing person in their life, but they want it to be where whatever it is that manipulates them, you let it manipulate you too. And it's kind of like, well, we all could have been more manipulated by the world. We all wanted to be in a relationship. We all could have been more codependent. We could have all been more fearful of loving ourselves and believing in ourselves. But during the course of the relationship, I did work through some of those issues within myself. Because that's normally, I think, what a healthy person would do in a relationship. I have a healthy, stable, supportive, encouraging environment. I'm going to look through eventually some of my fears and my insecurities and my self-limiting beliefs, and we could even do it out of fear that the people we're in a relationship with would turn their back on us. Like, if I don't grow up and temper my ego or temper my fears or get through some of my own defensiveness, and I could even look up to and admire those people. And so some people could do that work within themselves, and they could even do it more out of their codependency, or I don't want to go back and repeat a pattern. I realize if I'm going to move forward with these people, I've got to grow up and temper some things and put an end to an old way of living life, and I need to mature myself. Well, some people do that, and then they think the people in their life are going to be proud of them, and then the people in their life don't like it. It's like, if I wanted to be in a relationship with someone who's more maybe on the same level as me, I would have gotten in a relationship with someone like that. That's where the devil can be, that you're in a relationship with someone who challenges you to heal and grow and mature yourself. And some people are like, yeah, no, I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who challenges me to heal and grow and mature myself. I want to be in a relationship with someone who might be more not on the same level as me, might not have the same balance within themselves, status, image, stability, security within them. I'm going to go make an offer to those people who are kind of more defensive of maybe believing in themselves and believing in their dreams, who aren't maybe more on the same level as me. Because then I kind of also build my ego off of the fact that maybe I can get those people to heal some, but I don't want them to get on the same level as me. You know, sometimes we like these imbalanced relationship where someone's like the teacher and the other person's like the student. I'm the boss. You're like the employee in this relationship. I'm the star of the show, and that can be kind of toxic. I like to try to get other people to get out of some of their shadowy energy. Look at me. That makes me look like I must just be this loving, warm, encouraging person, which in a way they can definitely be a loving, warm, encouraging person, which is why you got in a relationship with them to begin with. And you could have thought a dream was going to come into reality. But the whole thing is, as you do some of that work to heal and grow and mature yourself, well, then they don't like it because now that you kind of have healed and learned to love and believe in yourself and moving forward in life differently, then they don't like it because in order to go, you want to now go to the next phase of life. Like, and you thought they'd be proud of you and move forward with you in that way. And they're like, I had no interest in going to that next phase of life. If I had wanted to do that, I would have been in a relationship with people who are like that to begin with. I got in a relationship with you because I was okay with you kind of being in that energy. And it was okay if you healed and grew some and worked through some of your past issues and some of your defensiveness and some of your fears and insecurities. But now, where you want me to become the student, because again, if we complete a cycle, we have to get out of our defensiveness and our ego to be a Page of Pentacles, dropping the Ten of Pentacles, shedding that old way of being, and we come out with the Page of Pentacles to be a student of life. I have lessons to learn. There are things in my life that I should put an end to be a student of life. And in the Ten of Swords, I worked through my fears and my insecurities and my defensiveness of doing that to come out with like the Page of Swords or the Ace of Swords. Again, life is about shedding old layers of ourself and ways of viewing ourselves, ways of viewing the world, ways of viewing others, these ways we had of viewing relationships to move forward in life differently. And that's when the people in your life are like, some of them are like, no, I'm not doing that. You go ahead. I'm going to go repeat this pattern with someone else. And that could be what some of them are doing. And sometimes we were in that position. How many of us have tried to change other people? And we could have had people in our life that kind of challenged our belief system. It was maybe a different relationship than what we were used to. We all kind of like to repeat patterns of the past because the sun can talk about we're in our comfort zone. I know how to work with these kind of people. I know how to work with more manipulative people, more worldly people, more defensive people, more egotistical. I like to be the one to try to change people. And in a way, that's where you could have met someone who seems kind of like that person too. And you had to probably do some work within yourself to that you weren't going to be the one who was going to have to try to change people, but you were at a point in your life because things weren't working out that then you did change, where you were willing to put in some of that work and effort to work through some of your own issues because you were trying to bring a dream into reality. But then you found out that some of those people that you got in a relationship with, in a lot of ways, can be like you, and they provide a loving and encouraging, supportive environment. But then they don't want to do the work within themselves. And so we learn these lessons that, you know, you could just look at it that some people are still in their pride and ego or defensive nature, more about themselves nature. And, you know, it's like that subtle difference. It's kind of hidden in the subconscious realm that, again, we can kind of get in relationships and friendships with people, and it seems like we're all on the same page. It might require us to do some work within ourselves. It can be challenging, but we do it because we want this dream to come into reality. And we're willing to change, and then we realize that other people aren't willing to change. It was one thing for you to change, but they're not willing to change. And then when we realize we don't want to keep moving forward with those people, and we do this work within ourselves to love ourselves, believe in ourselves, defending the new version of ourselves. Sometimes people, if you do that work with people in a relationship, some of those people will be very hurtful and unkind and backstab and betray you because you kind of did see that they were not willing to do what they wanted you to do. They weren't willing to put in the same work and effort that they could have been encouraging you to do. But then when it got to them having to do it within themselves, they weren't willing to do it. And they also don't want to see the truth about that. And so then they could hope that if they backstab and betray you and do these hurtful and unkind things to you, that you'll quit believing in yourself and you'll go back and repeat an old pattern, kind of drive your life off into the ditch, go in reverse, and then they can keep moving forward looking like they were the more emotionally mature, stable, grounded, loving person to begin with. But when you do this work to love and believe in yourself, it's like, I'm not the same person I was before. I wasn't creating an illusion. I really did do this work within myself. I'm not the same person I was before. I have freed myself from some of my past pain and heartbreak and my self-limiting beliefs, and I am moving forward in my new way of viewing life, regardless of you not wanting to move forward with me. I offered peace and love to the situation because I did have love for you. But I also see the truth. And the truth is, you're not ready to move forward in life differently. And I could see the truth that you're not who I thought you were. And I kind of saw through the illusion of who you were. And that, you're a fallible human being who has your own fears, your own insecurities. We can seem a lot alike in the world, but and then when we went through it, there could have been things that that were really hard. It's hard to shed a layer of yourself that you kind of want to indulge in that is kind of more immature or self-indulgent or defensive or fearful. And you're not willing to give it up. You put a lot of work and effort and you're like proud of yourself that you did that. And that's what some people weren't seeing the truth about you. That you were not like putting on a show, and some people who are kind of doing it more out of ego and show a little bit think you were doing things out of ego and show and creating an illusion that you weren't really who you said you were, and that you'd go and repeat some old patterns. And we definitely, when we were younger, could have done that. Life's about learning lessons. But you've gotten to a stage of life where it's like, I'm not sabotaging myself anymore. The good building blocks I've learned, I'm going to keep holding on to those things and emotionally investing in those things. And I've learned to offer love to myself and love to the situation, because love is the answer. And dealing with the truth is the answer. And I'm going to keep maintaining my position in a way, because the Knight of Swords kind of comes from the King and Queen of Swords to fight for what you believe in. I have a dream. And if I was willing to do the work to heal and grow and mature myself and other people weren't, I just see the truth of it. I wish you peace. You're going to repeat this pattern with someone else, maybe all your life. I don't know. That's up to you. But I am moving forward in life differently. And I also might have realized, because I do think, again, that we're kind of drawn and attracted to people because we have lessons learned from them about expanding our perception of ourselves in the world, and we could have been repeating a pattern. We could have realized, you know what? I think there was people in my life, because I have free will, that's Gemini energy, of who I was going to get in relationships and pursue friendships with, who I was going to get out of continuing friendships and relationships with. And I might kind of realize, you know what? because we have free will, we had different people in our life at different times of our life who aligned with our more hopeful, believing, loving nature, and people who kind of aligned with our more shadowy nature. And shit, I think I was defensive to some people who were more aligned with my hopeful, believing nature, but because I was repeating an old pattern, I didn't move forward with those people, and I kind of aligned with these people. Now that I've been illuminated to the truth and I've kind of healed and grown and matured myself, I'm not going to be in my ego about it because I've seen the truth. And when I've seen the truth, I can see that where I could have rejected certain people or gotten out of relationships with certain people because they did challenge me to maybe have more hope and faith and belief in myself, look at life differently. And that wasn't where I was at. And I kind of repeated an old pattern. So then as you move forward, you communicate to some people in your life that I've been illuminated to the truth. You know, the Page of Cups can be, I apologize. I'm sorry that when I had been or had the opportunity or was in a friendship or relationship with you, I had some issues to deal with that I wasn't seeing the truth of, and I had things that manipulated me that I wasn't seeing the truth of, and they could have had their own also. You know, it could have been a mutual thing too with some people. Some people it could have been more lopsided. But you reach out and tell people that I'm sorry, and I had these lessons learned, and now I've been illuminated to the truth, and I'm moving forward in life differently. I have learned to offer love to myself. I have worked through some of my past pain and heartbreak and things that could have made me defensive to looking at life differently. But now I do look at life differently, and I'm moving forward in this new way. Do you want to come with? Some of those people are like, well, when you were in that energy, I had to do all this work within myself to free myself and see the truth of it. And I'm not the same person I was. And I'm in relationships with people who are more on the same page as me and challenge me to keep healing and growing and maturing myself. And I'm moving forward with those people. For other people, they could say, when that didn't work out, I did have to do this work within myself too. I could have repeated some patterns and had to learn some lessons. I could be on the same page as you, where I am ready to move forward in life differently, and we find ourselves on the same page. And with some of those people, we can reconnect with and we can move forward with. Other people might be like, I was hoping you would get out of that energy and kind of quit repeating that pattern, but they still aren't ready to move forward. Like, oh, well, I just wanted you to quit being in a relationship with them or aligning with those people, and I wanted you to be in a relationship with me, but you've jumped ahead and you're totally moving forward in life differently now than I am. And then some of those people who would have liked to be in a relationship with you is like, shit, that, at one point I wanted them, it's kind of like, well, they just aren't ready to move forward either because they could have just wanted to be the person who maybe kind of you more indulged out of your fear or insecurity than someone else, but they're really kind of in that energy too. Or, and as you're moving forward, there can be people in the world that harness this energy in a shadowy way who are in their own situations that aren't working out the way they want. And some of those people could want to be in a relationship with you. But because shadowy people or more worldly focused people or more self-focused people are always going to invest in the world. And I think, people can be mad at other people. Those people wanted them to grow and heal and mature. How dare you? I have these things of the world, or I look this certain way, or whatever. I'm going to go get this person and try to get them to get in a relationship with me. But I think as you're moving forward, I think you're speaking your truth. You're wishing people, making gestures. The pages can just be these small gestures just to get to know people. You could work with them. They're in your community. They're in the world, whatever. But you're speaking your truth and defending your truth. And there can be some shadowy people in the world who would like to maybe indulge in a relationship with you, But if they can't manipulate you or control you or tempt you in your more, well, didn't you feel betrayed by those people? I feel betrayed by the people I was with. We should get in a relationship and operate out of our ego that those people moved on and we want to backstab them. It's like, I don't want to get in a relationship with someone, and I don't want someone to get in a relationship with me because they're still just upset about someone else and they maybe want to backstab them. No, I'll let you go get in a relationship with someone else and use them for that purpose. Um, and then there's going to be other people in the world who could have went through a similar situation like you. Can they? The devil can just be too that we're kind of working through our shadow nature about the fact that something we wanted to have work out didn't work out, and we're doing the work within ourselves to see the truth of it, that we weren't on the same page as those people. And also don't want to repeat that pattern, and getting to know people that in their environment um, to get to know them. I don't want to repeat that past pattern. The devil can mean that people are attracted to people, but I'm not going to repeat that past pattern. And if people are more harsh or critical or egotistical or want to be in a relationship with me for the wrong reasons, I don't. There's other people in the world who are on the same page as you. They also could have people they could get in a relationship with that if they wanted to try to manipulate them or tempt them in their lust, their greed, their pride, their ego, they probably could. They probably have people in their life trying to tempt them in their lust, their greed, their pride, their ego. I don't want to be in that type of relationship. So I'm standing up for what I believe in and kind of trusting my intuition, getting to know people to get to know the truth of what kind of drives and motivates them, what their dreams are, what just drives and motivates them. What is the truth of the foundation you build your life on? Is it more you and the world and ego and image, or is it truth and love? High vibe Taurus is where you really are who you say you are, and you act with character and integrity, and you're willing to put in work and effort, having hope and faith and belief in yourself and in others and in love. And you know it takes work and effort to make those things work. And some people have this illusion that, well, can't you just put in the work and effort? Can't I just indulge myself in it? Or won't you indulge me because I have these certain things? Or I'd be willing to indulge you because you have those things. It's like, I don't want to be in a relationship for those reasons. And I think as the high vibe people keep moving forward, with the people in their life who do work together with them in a loving way, in a just and fair, authentic way, you're all going to keep moving forward together, not letting your own shadow nature within each of you sabotage this relationship. Friends, family, coworkers, and you all temper and hold your sword up to your more shadowy nature to keep moving forward in truth and love. And those are the people you want to keep moving forward with. And if during the course, or you're seeing now that maybe some of the people were creating a little bit more of an illusion, they might want to come with, but they're kind of more shadowy in some way. It might be like, we're going to leave you behind, you know, because maybe before we weren't seeing the truth, and it's the same thing like at jobs, right? People can present themselves as, oh no, I have the skills and the traits and the characteristics, and I work together with people cooperatively, and it's kind of more this illusion, but the dream never really comes into reality. They might have the skills and the abilities, but they never really kind of put it into practice because maybe they kind of sabotage themselves, and maybe that's how they view life. Maybe they're used to people indulging them in a workplace, and can I just create the illusion and do some, but the dream is never really going to come into reality with me. And then people in a workplace can kind of see the difference between the people who really do seem to be motivated and inspired to put in the work and effort and aren't more about themselves or selfish or greedy or kind of prideful and egotistical. And they kind of detach from some of the people who are and let them go and move forward with the people who they think are. Well, the same thing kind of happens in friendship groups and relationships, right? So, high vibe people are going to have new beginnings with the people they're in relationships with. If you have gotten, the devil can represent, and Taurus, all these different institutions of the world. You know, when you loved yourself and stood up for yourself and weren't willing to settle for poor behavior, it's kind of, in a world of duality, we can hang out with people or workplaces where people are creating a little hell on earth. But if someone is creating a little hell on earth, that means the alternative exists in a world of duality, and there's people in the world who are trying to create a little heaven on earth. And if we see the truth of it, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to keep staying in this. I wish you peace, but I love and believe in myself. I would have liked this to have worked, but I have a dream. Apparently your dream and idea is different than mine. I'm going to face my fears to go pursue my dream and put myself out there. And then as you do that, there's other people, workplaces that are happy that you didn't stay someplace where you were betrayed, because they've had some people that they've worked for them that they didn't want to keep working with, and they're glad you came, and they're happy that you are working for them, and they're glad that you're not more egotistical or whatever, and you work together with them cooperatively to bring a dream into reality. And then the same thing can happen in relationships. When we quit investing our time, energy, and effort into people who aren't really more on the same page as us, it frees us up, and then there's more opportunity to meet people who are more on the same page as us. So, what's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Taurus energy? If they think there's people in their life who are kind of manipulating them, wanting to stay in a relationship with them for the wrong reasons, or being more immature, or really not, their dream is different than your dream. Some high vibe Taurus people, regardless if they're a Taurus sun sign or not, they are the one who harnesses high vibe Taurus, and some of the other people in their life harness a more worldly, shadowy Taurus energy. They've been illuminated to the truth, and they've worked through their fears and insecurities about letting those people do what they want to do with whoever they want to go do it with, and they're moving forward in life differently with the people in their life who are working together with them in this way, in this high vibe way. What's coming up for them that they might not see coming? The Six of Swords and the Hermit. Why? Because of the King of Swords. So, because you were willing to get to the truth, and the King of Swords I view as Libra energy, represented by the scales of justice, you did the work to get balance within yourself. You offered truth and love to yourself to heal, to get more balance within yourself, to face your fears, get out of your past pain and heartbreak, your defensive nature. Because you did all that, that like sets you free. The Six of Swords moves away from the Five of Swords, and the Five of Swords, the Five, the Six, and the Seven of Swords, like the Queen of Swords, is all Aquarius energy. At one time, we did have a dream, and there was people and a way of living life, and we wanted a dream to come into reality. But we could have realized how do we want to move forward? To go from the Five of Swords to the Six of Swords, what's our truth that motivates that moving forward? And with some people in our life, their truth is different than our truth, but they might want to come with. But we've kind of already, in the Hermit, like the Ten of Pentacles, we've already been illuminated to the truth that our truth isn't their truth, and they're defensive to our truth. And they could be defensive to dealing with the truth, wanting to see the truth, defend their more egoic, defensive, more about themselves nature. Or it's maybe good for their ego and their image, and that's why they want to come along. Or they are just more codependent. And it's like, but I've already seen the truth of who you are. And I know. if we're going to move forward together to try to bring a dream into reality, we have to be operating from the same truth. And kind of what you might think is just and fair in your Libra energy is different than what I think is just and fair in my Libra energy. Some people want to move forward with you, but they want you to keep hiding the truth. Like, could we get back in a relationship? Let's not tell the truth that why we didn't move forward before, or maybe that I did backstab and betray you, or maybe I am more immature, or maybe I am more prideful and egotistical or materialistic. Don't you want to be in a relationship with me? Don't you still feel backstabbed and betrayed? It's like, no, I moved beyond that. I did the inner work to free myself. And I'm moving away from people who have a different idea of life and what they think is just and fair. Their idea of the dream life is different than my idea of the dream life. And their idea of the dream life could be that I'm supposed to stay in a more codependent way of being, or a more materialistic or fearful whatever way of being. They think that's just and fair. That works for them. Then I keep moving forward with them in that job or relationship. And it's like, no, that's not my truth. That might be your truth, and you need to go find someone else to create that with. But I'm out of here. And then as you do that, and you're not investing your time, energy, and effort into those people, and you're standing up for your truth, there's other people who see that you're doing that. And then they're like, oh, it could be people who even saw that other people were manipulating you. Other people already knew that some of those people were more immature, weren't who they said they were more bossy and controlling or something, or egotistically motivated, not love motivated. And then some of those people are like attracted to you and would like to be in a relationship with you. They're willing to give up moving forward in a way they had been moving forward with. Because some people could have felt betrayed because you weren't in a relationship with them. And they don't want to feel betrayed anymore, I could keep being in my ego and be defensive because at one point in time you didn't choose me to be in a relationship with, when I could have made an offer to get in a relationship with you or whatever, right? And now that you've seen the truth and I've seen the truth, I'm done feeling betrayed or moving forward with people in my life who are more shadowy. I want to be in relationships with people who are more on the same page as me. And the new people that you meet in your life and the people that are currently in your life are people who defend in truth and love this dream. And everybody's truth is, I am willing to do this inner work within myself periodically when I feel kind of defensive, when it challenges my belief system of how I view myself and how I view relationships, and that could make me be defensive. I am willing to do that work together with you, because you seem to be someone who is willing to do that work, and you're going to move on with or without people, to get your dream and your truth and your justice. And I know other people are going to see that about you, and there'll always be other people who are willing to work with you, but you're not willing to work with shadowy people. And I want to be in a relationship with people who are like that, so I am willing to do that work within myself too. So I think you're on your way to having your dreams coming into reality and getting the justice you deserve, because you aligned with that energy within yourself. And you are willing to deal with the truth and see who isn't on the same page as you. Even though you could love them, I'm not going to indulge you in your poor behavior. Grow up and mature yourself, or I'm moving on without you. Can we still get along? Can we still see each other at Christmas? Yeah. That I'm not going to keep trying to encourage you to change. I have offered you truth and love and encouragement. If you keep wanting to repeat these old patterns, then I'm done. You do that with someone else. I'm not going to keep trying to change someone who doesn't want to change. It is a free will choice. And I see that is not your choice. So you go repeat that pattern with someone else. Go hang out with someone else. I'll call you for the holiday. Tell you what time we're eating. It's just the thing of who do I want to invest my time, energy, and effort into? More with other people than some other people. What's coming up with some people who harness some shadowy Taurus energy that they might not see coming? The Nine of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. Why? Because of the Two of Pentacles. Shadowy people might not want to pick a path, and other people do pick a path. And they have different types of people in their life. They have high vibe, loving, encouraging people who are more independent and loving and balanced. High vibe Virgo, Pisces, and Capricorn. They also have people in their life who are harness a more shadowy Virgo, Pisces, and Capricorn, who are more about the world, maybe have illusions about love, want to be in relationships with people because they like being in relationships with people, but not really sure if they really want to do love because you get hurt doing love. And some people have a lot of fear of love because of other people that have betrayed them. And so they keep, and probably because they don't work through it to see the truth and listen to their intuition about different people. It's like, no, everybody, blanket statement, not doing love. I don't trust any of you because some people in my life betrayed me. It's like, okay. Well, some of the high vibe people in their life are going to move on because the high vibe people have picked a path. They have chosen truth and love. And some of these people that the high vibe people moved on from them, then they could have went and got in a relationship with some more people who they thought were more on the same page as them. But some of those people weren't willing to stay in a relationship with them because they weren't willing to commit to that path. Because some people want the best of both worlds. Well, I kind of like to hang out with the loving people, but then I'm not sure because they want me to heal and grow and mature. So then I let them go, and then I want to hang out with more worldly, shadowy, or self-indulgent, prideful, materialistic people. But then, I kind of miss the loving type people more, who are more authentic and warm and loving. So then I want to get in a relationship with them. And they keep going back and forth because they don't want to pick a path. But the problem is other people do pick a path. And so some of these people who are juggling, their dream isn't going to come into reality with people who pick a path because they're not going to keep letting someone juggle. And some people want to be in a relationship, but they don't really want to bring the dream into reality and bring justice to the situation. Can't we just stay in the relationship and indulge in the relationship as long as it works for me, as long as it works for you, but never really commit to it? And there's some people who aren't willing to do that. Either you want to move forward in this relationship and bring justice to the situation, or you don't. And there's some people because they just want to juggle and indulge themselves in relationships without really making a commitment. Eventually, other people don't want to be in a relationship with them anymore. And maybe, depending on where they live, eventually everybody knows they don't really want to move forward with a commitment. They just kind of want to be immature and indulge themselves in a relationship for as long as it benefits them. But there too, if someone else comes along where they got more status, more ego, more image, more fear, more insecurity, more codependent, more willing to indulge them, they would get out of this relationship to go get in that relationship. And eventually there could be nobody who wants to be in a relationship with them. And some of these people, because they might have these certain traits or characteristics, they might be attractive, they might be charming, they might have social clout or power or assets. They keep thinking there's always going to be other people where things didn't work out for them that will be willing to be in a relationship with them and defend me. And some of the people who ultimately might end up staying in a relationship with them are other people who are juggling. Cool, you don't want to be in a more formal commitment? Me neither. Because guess what? I might want to keep my options open. But so long as this works for me, and it works for you, I'll stay in it too. And some people could have thought, oh my gosh, I am living the dream. I got it going on. I got someone who isn't requiring me to heal and grow and mature myself. I maybe not requiring them to heal and grow and mature themselves. We're just making our life and indulging in whatever we're making our life about. But, and it might look good by worldly standards, and they could kind of defend it, but they both might know that it is more because of fear of commitment. That's what makes them stay in it. Fear of becoming independent of it is what makes them stay in it. Not wanting to, they're more motivated to try to stop and backstab and hurt other people is why they stay in it. Yeah, I'm willing to be in a relationship. It works for me. Oh, you want to backstab that person? Hell yeah, man, I'll join you. I'll yap about them or do whatever you want. So long as you stay in it with me, right? Because then I'll enjoy these benefits. You know, some people will stay in relationships they don't even want to stay in. Just if they think because there's so much in their ego that someone wasn't willing to kind of indulge them in their immature nature. If this hurts you and makes you mad and backstabs you, I'm going to keep doing it. What they don't see, though, is other people they can feel that way initially, but they do this work within themselves where, you do you, and I know you're this petty, immature, prideful, egotistical, whatever person, and I've moved on. And then those people can feel betrayed because you're no longer kind of going back and forth about them or in your ego about them or in your competitive energy or jealous or mad. That can be how some people feel a sense of empowerment. I'm the boss. And if you don't do things the way I want, and that's the difference where you find out the truth about people. People who you thought were more on the same page as you, who had hope and faith and belief and love. You thought that's why they were being loving and encouraging and supportive to you, but it was more about them. And then when you challenge them in their belief system to heal or grow or mature, how dare you? I am going to backstab and betray you. And I'll go get in a relationship with someone else. There's other people who will indulge me in my more stubborn, prideful ways of being. And it's this false sense of empowerment. And it's like a balloon that they blow up of look how powerful I am. But as other people see the truth of it and move on, the balloon deflates. That's why it's a false sense of empowerment. And then they're just, the only person they really backstabbed and betrayed was themselves. And eventually they might kind of see the truth of it because they wanted to replace you. Some people just tried to sabotage your life and try to make other people defensive to you because they didn't like those people not being more codependent on them or being in a relationship with them, but they had bad intentions. And some people fell for it, and then they realize maybe, they didn't realize it initially. They were tempted in their lust or their greed or their pride or their ego, their fear or their codependency. And then as other people keep moving forward and they thought, gee, I thought I'd be happy repeating this old pattern. And this person came in my life or is in my life and said that I should keep repeating this pattern. And I wanted to keep repeating this pattern. And now they end up feeling backstabbed and betrayed by some of the people they aligned with because those people were in shadowy energy too and encouraging them to be more in their lust or their greed or their pride or their ego or self-indulgent nature. And they're still kind of dealing with people like that, the things that manipulated them, and other people have freed themselves. Well, why aren't those people manipulated by all these things that manipulate me? It's because they did the work within themselves to figure out why they would. And they realized they dealt with the truth. And again, some other people just keep not wanting to see the truth. No, those people aren't manipulating me. No, I'm not more materialistic. No, I'm not bossy and controlling. No, I'm not immature. And then they keep repeating the same pattern and the same thing happens. Either they end up with toxic people, or the loving people leave. And they are like, well, I don't understand why people don't want to be loving to me and stay in a relationship with me, because you're not seeing the truth that you're not aligned with loving energy yourself. And there's other more shadowy people who are willing to stay in a relationship with you, but it's not going to be based on love. It will be the illusion of love. And the loving people leave, but you don't want to see the truth because you like to view yourself as a loving person, but you don't want to learn lessons in life and humble yourself to be a student of life. You think maybe you're perfect, like you're God. You don't have any lessons to learn, and other people move on. So some shadowy people are going to have some high vibe people in their life, whether it's friends or family or people they've known. As they keep repeating this pattern over and over, there's going to be people who move on from them. Did they give them the benefit of the doubt for a long time? Did they believe the illusion? Did they align with them at different times in their life? But when it keeps happening over and over, it's like, it seems like you've had some loving and encouraging and supportive and authentic and warm people in your life that you could have had a dream come into reality. I think those people temper their ego and learn lessons to work together with you. But then when they want you to maybe work more cooperatively with them, you're not willing to do that. And that's why the relationship ends. Or you really are more all about yourself, or more ego and materialistically based, and you're just a social climber looking for the next best thing. Either way, I don't want to hang out with you, and I'm moving on. And then these people will be mad that those people don't indulge them in the way they view themselves. Some of them could be narcissistic. And they'll keep repeating an old pattern, or just being more codependent on the world or people in their life, and never go live their more authentic life and let all these things manipulate them. Thinking, I'll just go indulge in something new and it'll make me happy, or different, or the same old thing. And they don't ever look at life any differently. And they can't understand how other people do that, because they're defensive of humbling themselves and maybe looking at life from a higher perspective. Maybe there are people who always get so caught up in their head and their fears and their insecurities and not trusting people. It's like, well, is everybody that you've met somebody who is distrustful? Or maybe we should get to the root core foundation of some people who you feel betrayed or manipulated you, or were bossy or controlling, self-indulgent, immature. But that could be too destabilizing to themselves and their whole sense of self to even see the truth about some people in their life. When they're ready to deal with it, they'll deal with it. Until they're ready to deal with it, they won't deal with it. Or even dealing with the truth that maybe some of them are a narcissist, and of course they don't view themselves that way. So there you go, Taurus energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.